My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. I know they say that it's only preseason. It's only preseason, right? Oh my fucking goodness. That might have been one of the most brutal and boring football games I've ever watched in my entire life. The offense was moving at a snail's pace all day. The defense couldn't make a tackle upfield. Guys are fumbling the football. The Dolphins had 102 yards of offense today. 102 yards. And this was basically a continuation of the joint practice on Thursday. Now, I want to get this out of the way before I talk anything about the game. I know people on social media are upset that the starters did not play on offense today. There's no Malik Willis, no Achan. Malik Washington didn't play. Caleb Douglas was in there for a series, but he really wasn't featured. There was no Greg Dulcich today. There was no... every offensive lineman didn't play but Caden Proctor. And Proctor played in the first series. No defensive starters either. It was only rookies and Zane Anderson. Trader played the entire game. Dante Trader played the entire game on defense. He was out there in the fourth quarter, even with the scrubs. So, shout out to him, but holy shit, dude. That game was so brutal to watch. I'm so happy it's over. But again, the starters didn't play today, and people on social media were pretty upset about it. And I get it. I get it. Not many people on this team have earned the right to not play in a preseason game. However, what I will say, though, is I will hold my judgment until Friday night. I will hold my thought until Friday night because the Dolphins do not have a joint practice with the Atlanta Falcons coming up. They're not practicing with the Atlanta Falcons next week, which is the team they're playing next week. And I would expect the starters to be playing most of the first half on Friday night. That's just my guess. That's to get their main reps in for the week. I'm expecting the starters to play Friday night. Now, if there's no starters on Friday night and we get the same thing that we did today, I'm going to be very upset. I'm going to be very upset because holy shit, what I just watched for 3 hours was a load of crap. A local high school football team could be better than the third stringers on the Miami Dolphins. That was rough. That was rough. I want to go through some of the stats with you guys. Some of these stats, it blows you away, man. Blows you away. The final score, as you see in the thumbnail, by the way, was 26-3 Giants. The Giants had the football for 41 minutes in this game. The Dolphins had the football for 19. That they didn't even have the football for a third of the game. They barely had the football for a third of that game. The Giants picked up 26 first downs. The Dolphins picked up 3. All game. 3 hours of football. 3 first downs. I think the starting offense last week picked up more first downs on the opening drive than the entire team did in this preseason game. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Third down, the Dolphins were 2 for 11. Let's see penalties. The Dolphins had 8 penalties. The Giants had 4. And the Dolphins had 102 total yards of offense. That's it. They had 102 total yards of offense. They had 61 yards passing, and they had 51 yards rushing. And you best believe that after this game Friday night with the Atlanta Falcons, on cut day, John Eric Sullivan is going to be on the phone a lot, bringing in competition. It doesn't have to be high-profile names that have already had experience in the league or whatnot. Just names that this team can bring in for competition. They signed someone in the middle of a game. They made a roster move in the middle of the game. I don't remember the fella's name, but I'll go look real quick. Shit, who did they sign? They signed Giante McMillan off waivers from the Indianapolis Colts, cornerback. So he's making moves, and he's going to make moves on roster cut day. You best believe. So we might as well get this shit started. This is going to be... I'm going to try to make this as fast as possible because you guys don't deserve to have your time wasted on a meaningless preseason game like this. I'd rather give you the long shows in the middle of the regular season or in the beginning of the season. This was the possessions for the Dolphins offense today. Punt, fumble, punt, 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 field goal, which was the only two bright spots in this game. 2. It was a 30-yard catch by Kevin Coleman and a field goal from Riley Patterson. That's it. Second half, punt, 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 and then a fumble on the punt by Taj Washington. So I guess we'll go over this game in detail. The Dolphins, they got the ball first. Cam Miller was your starting quarterback today. And they went 3 and out immediately. Didn't move the ball, couldn't gain a yard on the ground. Didn't complete a pass. 3 and out immediately. Then the Giants got the ball. And they went 8 plays, 83 yards in 4 minutes. 3rd and 5 at their own 22-yard line. They brung the house, and Jameis Winston found Darius Slayton wide open for 29 yards down to the Miami 49. Next play, Jameis to Theo Johnson for 12 yards. And then we got a end around to Calvin Austin for 21 yards. That brings it to the Miami 16. 2nd and 5. Jameis was incomplete to Manhurts. But on that play, Trey Moore was bringing the pressure. Trey Moore took a weird angle on that pass rush, and he ended up really hurting his knee. I don't know how severely bad it is. I think we'll probably know more by Monday. But he put absolutely no weight on that left leg. So I don't think it's good. It didn't look good, and that sucks for one of our young guys who we drafted um, this year to go down with a knee injury like that. That's gonna suck. And then the very next play, Jameis Winston ran it in for an 11-yard touchdown. I'm like, ugh, ugh. This is gonna be a long game. This is going to be a very long game. So it's 7-0 Giants. Dolphins get the ball back. 3rd and 5 at their own 40. Cam Miller throws it up, and Kevin Coleman Jr. goes up and makes the catch for 30 yards while getting a pass interference call. That's down to the Giants 30, so that was one of the positives all game, was that catch by Kevin Coleman. You love to see it, man. You love to see it. Cam Miller got sacked for a loss of 3. Cam Miller on a screen to Kevin Coleman for 1. And then the next play, Jalen Wright fumbles the football, and the Giants recover. That right there is how you fall in the depth chart, man. That's how you fall in that depth chart. Fumbling the football in preseason. Not good. Jalen Wright's stock going down today. So to catch you guys up, to make it quicker speed, the Giants went 3 and out. The Dolphins went 3 and out. On that 3rd down, Cam Miller passed to Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell drops the ball. The Giants, they fumble. I'm not really saying we caused the fumble, though, because it was a handoff to Tyrone Tracy, and he lost the grip of that football, and Jackson Woodard made the recovery, so that was cool, but none of our defenders made the play. That was simply Tyrone Tracy dropping the football. And it doesn't matter because we go 3 and out in the first play. Cam Miller goes to Tutu Atwell, and Tutu Atwell dropped the football. He's got to get cut. There is no reason why Tutu Atwell should be making this team come roster cuts. He has provided nothing. And you could say the same thing for Jalen Tolbert too, but I think they're going to end up keeping one of these guys. But gosh, we brung them in to try to give them an opportunity, and they have both. Both of them have dropped the ball mightily. They've really dropped the ball. So there should be no excuse why Tutu Atwell should be making this team. He should not. Cut his ass next week. Friday night better be his last game in that uniform. The Giants, off a bad punt by Bradley Pinion that went off the side of his foot, they start at the Dolphins' 30-yard line. That punt went 15 yards, by the way. Yep, you heard me. 15 yards. You know, I was a punter in high school for a year. I wasn't good. I wasn't a good punter. But I bet you I could probably punt the ball better than Bradley Pinion did right there. So the Giants, they capitalize with a field goal on that drive, and they make it 10-0. The Dolphins, they punt. First play, Ollie Gordon up the middle for 17 yards, gets called back because of a holding call by the defense. And then we have to punt 3 and out. Third and 14, Cam Miller to Tosh Washington for 14 yards. The Giants, they end up going 9 plays, 71 yards in 5.5 minutes. First and 10 at the Giants 40, Jameis to Darius Slayton for 19 yards. And then Singletary picks up 8 and 7 yards back-to-back plays. Jameis Winston to OBJ, and OBJ gets a massive cheer, which, by the way, watching it on TV, there were a ton of Giants fans at Hard Rock Stadium today. And that is going to be a common theme throughout this season, where road teams, fan bases are going to be traveling to Miami a lot this season. And there's going to be games, I'm telling you, don't be shocked. There's going to be games where there's more fans for the away team than there are for the Miami Dolphins. I will give you a prime example. Week 14, the Dolphins are going to be probably eliminated from the playoffs. The Dolphins will be eliminated from the playoffs at that point. The Bears are coming to town. It is freezing in Chicago in December. That will absolutely be a vacation for Chicago Bears fans come week 14. Buffalo's another one. It is freezing cold in Buffalo, January. They come to Hard Rock Stadium January 3rd in week 17. That game is going to be filled with Buffalo Bills fans. So don't be shocked when there's more fans for the opposing team than there are Miami Dolphin fans this year. I'm not saying all the games, but some of them. 2nd and 9, Devin Singletary makes the cut. The defenders can't chase him, and it's a 13-yard touchdown. And now the bloodbath is on. It is 17-0. The next drive, the Dolphins go 7 plays, 28 yards. 3rd and 6, Cam Miller was able to scramble for 17 yards to pick up a first down. And the very next play, Ollie Gordon goes down with an injury. So the two big injuries today were Trey Moore and Ollie Gordon. So we'll have to hear from Jeff Hafley to see the extent of those injuries. And we'll probably get a more clear answer come Monday, I believe. 2nd and 9, Jalen Wright for 5 yards. And then 3rd and 4, they decide to run the ball. I'm not going to be too critical of that. It's preseason. They did the same thing when Jalen Wright fumbled the ball. It was 3rd and 12, and they ran the ball. It's preseason. I don't really care. So that's fine with me. Riley Patterson for 53. And that was, again, that and the Kevin Coleman catch were the only two highlights of this game. And then the Giants, they had 1 minute left. And, of course, they scored. They did not score a touchdown, though. They got down to the Dolphins' 14-yard line and kicked a 32-yard field goal to make it 20-3 at halftime. Second half, Cam Miller is now out of the game. It is Mark Gronowski time, and he provided 1 passing yard for the Dolphins offense. The Giants, they punted. The Dolphins went 4 plays. The Dolphins went 4 plays, minus 10 yards. False start on Charlie Heck immediately. This poor guy backed into his own end zone immediately in a very uncomfortable situation. The Dolphins punt an offensive holding backs the Giants up to Miami's 47-yard line. They still score. Brandon Allen is in the game now. They get a 27-yard field goal. It's 23-3. The Dolphins go 3 and out. The Giants go 15 plays for 64 yards. They kill 7.5 minutes. It's 26-3. Punt for the Dolphins. Punt for the Giants. Taj Washington fumbles on a punt. And that's your game. That is your game. So, I'm glad that one's over, man. But that was not fun to watch. That was torture. And at the end of the day, backups, they played like backups. Most of these guys on this team that played today, by next week, is going to be driving around a FedEx truck in their local city. That's how bad these guys were today. Mark Gronowski is going to be driving around a FedEx truck. Cam Miller is going to be driving around a FedEx truck. The guys on defense, they'll be at the cash registers by next week. It was bad. So, I'm going to try not to overreact to this. I'm not going to make my judgment yet if I'm upset with the starters not playing today. I'm going to wait till Friday. Because I know this regime is not last year's regime, but I remember the starters mostly playing in the final preseason game last year as like their dress rehearsal. The dress rehearsal before the season starts in the preseason game. So I don't know if Friday night is going to be rehearsal for the starters. I hope so. I hope we see Malik Willis a lot on Friday. I hope we see the starting offensive line a lot. I want to see more of Rodriguez and more of Chris Johnson. The defensive linemen. I want to see more of those guys. They need to play They need to play Friday night. And if they don't, I'm going to be very upset. So I'm going to try not to overreact to this, but that was brutal to watch. Very bad. And it's not a shocker, folks. It's going to be a very long season for this team. How many times have I said 5 wins would be a miracle? I mean that. I'm not bullshitting you guys. For this year, 5. This is what I'm saying, because the Las Vegas over/under is 4.5. The over/under is 4.5. I'm not gonna bet it because I want to cheer for my team every game. I'm not one of these people. Like, I'll get very frustrated. I might not care as much. Like, if we're in December and we're 2-10, I'm not gonna have the same excitement for that game as I have potentially in the week 1 first game of the year. But I mean it. I mean it, guys. 5-12 would be a miracle for this team this year. If we win 5 games, that's a successful season, and that's something we can build on. So, we'll see, man. But I'm getting out of here. There's no joint practice next week with the Falcons. If I do I'll let you know if I make a podcast in the middle of the week. I'll do like the preseason preview on Thursday, Thursday will be the preseason preview. It won't be that long. It'll be like 15 minutes because it's a preseason game. And then next Friday, we have the Falcons Dolphins preseason game, the final preseason game of the season. Thank God. And then Sunday, I will review AEW All In. It'll be one of the very last wrestling reviews of the year because I switch over to football in the fall. You guys know that. So I will review All In. Absolutely. It is the biggest AEW show of the year. But then after that, I don't know how much I'm going to be doing wrestling reviews at the end of the year in the fall. So you got that to look forward to next week, and I will catch you all then. Have a good night. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button if you like what you heard from me. Comment down below your thoughts on the game. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok, Conlon_Joseph. I would appreciate that. And I will see you guys next week, man. All right. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always, stay classy. And I'm out. Peace.